Call this meeting to order. Mary, please read the roll.
Present.
Thompson,
Here.
Howard,
Here.
Ferris, Garcia.
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everyone that's joining us here physically as well as those who are joining us online. We will start and go to item number 2, public hearing. Item A, conditional use permit for 908 Broadway Avenue. Is anybody here to address that issue? Okay, please take the podium and state your name and the nature of your business, please.
My name is Dev Smith, and I don't own 908, but my girlfriend does, and she's passed away, and we're trying to rezone the thing to commercial so we can put up storage units. And so we're trying to get all the paperwork done so we can do that.
And who was your girlfriend?
What? It might be my mother-in-law's name too.
Okay, and what is that name?
Regional Oldham.
Okay. We will make a note of this. So what you're trying to do is that
It's a house.
It's a house.
And I rented it, and when the renters moved out, they tore it up pretty bad. And instead of sticking 30,000-40,000 in a house, I'd rather stick in a set of storage units.
So the internal structure is in pretty
Yeah,
dilapidated
I mean it's
condition.
fixable, but I mean 30,000-40,000. I don't think the house is worth that.
Okay. So all you're asking is for a permit to rezone that. Is Brian here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, would you kind of address the commission a little bit where that is concerned?
Yeah. So it's not a rezoning. So what it is, the property is zoned as a C2 district, which is a downtown district area. So it's going to be, I wish we had a map up on the board, but anyways, going down Broadway between 9th and 10th on the west side of the road, or the street, I should say.
Broadway, right?
Yeah, south of the, let's say, south of the library. Should give you guys a good idea of that block south of the library. The west side of the road is C2 district. The west or east side of the road is R1 district. So in order for him to build a storage unit in a C2 district, he has to apply for a conditional use permit. It's already zoned C2, which means that a C2 district, you're okay to already have storage units in a C2 district, but you have to get a conditional use permit by the governing body. The downside is he has to tear down the house and then build the storage units between two already existing residential structures. So I do have to say that I have received some phone calls in regards to people not in favor of this. I don't know if anybody's here for that. And I have had people tell me that they will appeal if you guys do apply or if you do approve it tonight. And if they do appeal within 14 days of you guys' decision, then it has to go back to you guys and it has to be a unanimous vote. It has to be a 5-0 vote. Can't be a 1 or a 4-1 vote or like that. So just kind of let you know kind of the backstory of all this. So again, it's already zoned properly. It's just in order for them to put in a storage unit, it has to be approved by you with a conditional use permit. So
How wide are those lots?
So it's 50 foot wide. So he would have to bring it in 10 feet on both sides, which means he can go 30 feet wide. That's the biggest width you can go because he can only go 10 feet to both the north and south. And then to the length, he can't go past the existing building line towards Broadway. And then to the back, to the alley, you'd have to stay at least 3 feet off the edge of the alley on the back side.
Would there have to be fences put up on each side?
That'd be up to you. Nowhere does it say that he has to do that. That would be up to the conditional use permit. So that's where a conditional use permit comes in with you guys as a board, that you can approve the conditional use permit, but you have to put in conditions like what you guys do with Jim Gillespie's auto repair shop. You required him to put up a fence after the conditional use permit was approved, and he had so many days to put it up, or the conditional use permit would be null and void.
So I'm trying to configure it in my mind mentally. If you're going to put storage and you're going to have 10 feet on the north, 10 feet on the south, put up a fence, It's gonna leave very, very, very small space there for whoever rents those storage shed to load or park or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would have to walk in for sure every time. They really couldn't be able to drive, in my opinion, up to those storage units. They'd have to walk, they have to park on Broadway or park in the alley and then walk in, to go to those storage units every time.
Is the 30 foot of usable width, is that also, is the access to that, to the units have to be within that 30 foot as well? Like, do you have to have, so you have 10 feet on the other side, so you have 30 feet. Do you have to have, can the unit itself be 30 feet wide, or do you have to have room for access in order to people get to the units within that 30 feet, or can they?
Nor to say you have to have that, it just says that the maximum width of that building can be 30 feet, because you have to be 10 feet away from both property lines. But it doesn't say anything like that, it doesn't maximum access or anything like that, so. Sorry. I'll use my pathetic jack.
Any concerns or questions from the commission?
The complaint or the concerns you already have that they said that the people are the neighbors next door across the street.
Correct, yeah.
Oh.
So how the process goes is that I have to put it in the newspaper, which I did that 20 days prior to the hearing, which I did that. And then I have to let everybody within 300 feet of the property, I have to give them notice, which I had mailed out all those notices to everybody within 300 feet. And those were the complaints that came in, was from neighbors on the east side of Broadway that live straight across. And then I even had one person on Main Street call me up, I can't remember who that was, who got noticed. So,
Garrett, any concerns?
Well, I've just heard some of the neighbors not wanting it.
So the conditional use is just because it's storage units?
Yep.
So if you were to tear down the house and just put up a commercial building and put a business in there, that wouldn't be an issue because it's a C2 district?
as long as, yeah, as long as it met in your,
Ordinance.
Article 5 in your 2002 use regulations chapter book, it has a table, and over on the C2, you'll go down, you'll see where there's a P, and that means permitted. So then, yes, they can build whatever on that lot because it's zoned that. Where it has a C, that's where it's a conditional use permit, and that's where the storage units came in. So yes, if Mr. Smith wanted to tear down that house today and build something that had a P right there, there's really not a whole lot we could do about that because it's already zoned as C2 district.
Do we know, I mean, why is, I'm just curious as to why that block is zoned as a C2 when it's almost all residential? I know there's a business building on the south end of that block, but it's,
I'm guessing, I don't know, that was way before my time, of course, back in 2002, when they rezoned all of the city of Goodland, when that planning commission did all that, I think that's part of their future land use. I believe that they feel, again, I don't want to speak out of term, there's some community members that are still in Goodland that you could probably talk to that were on that board that could probably answer this question better for you, but I'm assuming that they were thinking that in the future those houses would no longer be there and downtown businesses would be built in that place. That's be my assumption. So, especially right at the corner of 10th and Broadway, there's already a commercial brick building there. It's vacant, but there's a commercial building right there. So, right.
One of the other things that has to be factored from the economic standpoint is the fact that since then the commission has, passed an ordinance that if you build some, you have to build kind of a driveway leading up to there, and then the front structure has to be stone or some kind of an aesthetic, that doesn't become a nuisance to, the people who live around it. So there would be, some pretty good investment as far as
Right.
that is concerned.
And again, that's where you guys come in on the conditional uses, as they have to meet X, Y, and Z things to fulfill before they can start building. Yep.
yeah, are those conditions that you just spoke of, those are just for like garages though, right?
Well, he would be putting something, a structure like that is what you would be saying, right?
Well, on a C2 district, which is downtown Main Street, it requires at the front of the building to be halfway bricked anyways to meet the downtown design. So to go with the whole brick, idea. So that's why if you go down Main Street, you'll see that so much of the bottom up has either stone or brick or something that goes along the bottom of the buildings. So that's the only district that we have, except for, like what you just said, it has to have certain type of a look. So, yep.
It has to be a unanimous decision, otherwise it's out, right?
Tonight, it doesn't have to.
I mean, not, I'm talking about when we vote for it, if we get down to formal action, you know, and
Yep.
Helen would have, you know, something, of course, it is down under, section 5, right? Conditional use permit, so.
Yep.
Anyway, but, so we just, you know, want you to be aware that there's gonna be investment either way, that you would go, and it has to be, if it, you know, if all the commissioners don't vote in favor of that, and there has been some concerns from people that live in that area. So the commission has to bear that in mind, so if it doesn't come to a 5-0 vote, then, you know, we have to go back to the drawing board, so. Any other questions, guys? For Brian or Joan?
Another question for Zeb, if he's still back there. Do you know exactly what kind of storage structure you're planning on building there?
I measured it, it's gonna be roughly 30 by 117. I like to put 90 foot of it into storage units, so there's 9 on each side, and then 30 by 30 up front, I'd like to put a shop, or just a big building with electricity in it, so if I want to have storage or something for myself.
That's the only question I had.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other question? Alan? No
What
question?
kind of shop?
A shop tall enough to put a car lift in, so if I want to change my own oil, I guess.
Thank you.
JD?
Thank you.
Any questions? All right, thank you so much. You bet. All right, so we move down to item B, rezoning of 1611 Kansas Avenue. Helen?
This is a rezone from R1 to a C1, and I do not know the reason for it. Would you like to, is it you again?
Another thing, the house is in bad shape and it needs to be tore down. The foundation caved in this summer and we got it on jacks, letting the guy live there, and it's kind of the point, well, JJ knows, he's kind of helped me on the project, let me use some equipment. It's in bad shape and I like to tear it down, put up storage units still too.
And after you tear that down, what are the intentions for
Put up a storage unit.
put a storage unit?
Mhm.
That's just where that one house is?
Well, there's a house and foundation, and me and Brian have tried to call the lady that owns the corner lot, and we can't get a hold of her. I'd like to buy that property too and just make that whole block a storage unit, but we cannot get a hold of her. I didn't know if there's something you guys maybe could do in the city, if you get in contact with the people that own the property and say, tell them somebody's interested in buying it. I didn't know if that's possible, because we've tried everything we've done.
Who owns that?
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. I believe they live in Callahan, Colorado.
I know a lot of that 17th Street is zoned commercial. Up how far? Up towards Main Street does commercial zoning go currently? Does anybody know?
You're,
Well, it's just that half of that block.
yeah.
The south half of that block is commercial.
Well, they're on their house that burned down, that got tore down, that's
That's the
now
block over.
basically a car lot. Is that permitted, by the way? What they're doing with that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you send out letters to the surrounding neighbors on that one too? Any response on that from that side?
The only person I did have a phone call from was Joe Diaz. The only reason why he called was because he's thinking about doing the same thing, rezoning the property down on Sherman and wanting kind of almost doing the same thing that Zeb wanting to rezone it from R1 to C1 and possibly look at doing storage units as well, or his own private storage building. So, but that's the only phone call I've had on this one.
You said your first name was Dustin, right?
Zeb
Zeb. And what's the last name?
Smith.
Smith, okay. Any other questions for Zeb?
How big would the storage unit be there?
As big as you'll let me go. That's kind of the thing. If I don't get 908 zoned, I'm gonna sell 908, and I'm gonna take that money, invest it in 1611. But I thought I'd try to zone both of them tonight.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much, okay?
Thank you.
We move on to item number 3, public comment. Anybody here that would like to address Joni? Good evening.
And I probably kind of already know the answer to this. I've met Alan and had a great conversation with Alan the other day. I am asking for your leniency to put my own camera system up at the shop at the cemetery. What that would entail is tapping into your Wi-Fi, which I know is a huge no-no. But in light of the recent events that's happened, I think the more eyes we can get everywhere, the better off we're all going to be. I did meet with the county commissioners. They have given the city permission to, on that curve right there by the cemetery, there is a street light right there on the curves that the county owns, to put a surveillance system there, a camera there, and a camera that faced the south, and you could get all 3 gates. So where they are not locking the gates, it has been nicer because the police have been able to go through and monitor the cemetery more. People are noticing because I get text messages late at night. Hey, there's somebody in the cemetery. Yeah, that'd be our police, monitoring. So that is what I'm asking. We have a gentleman that had installed camera systems for us on our farmsteads. So, and that's what I'm asking, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the more eyes we can get out there, the better off we are. So anyways, that's all I got.
I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Do I need to get my own Wi-Fi? Is that what I need to do? Cause I know Josh and I have talked at great lengths about this, and where the city does own the system out there, or there's the Wi-Fi out there, there's some legalities behind that, correct, Josh? If I'm wrong, please tell me.
That's the way I understood it.
So,
Was because it was a public facility that privately, security systems cannot be put in. Because we've had the same conversation on other locations.
Ellen, have you had a chance to address this?
Well, I would offer that during the public comment period, that the commission should not consider action, whether it's financial or policy related. This is intended to be a public comment period. If there's something that you would like staff to explore and bring your recommendation, I think that's the appropriate feedback that we need to have, Josh and I, to sit down with Joni and figure out what your possibilities are.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to recommend, for you to get together with them and, bring back a recommendation to the committee or whatever you find out, but you're absolutely right on your comments. So, Joni, well, I guess if the other commissioners have any questions, we would probably, have you get together with Alan. Alan, you can get together with Josh and work through the legalities and what the liabilities are, and bring us back your recommendation.
I know one thing that we really need to look at, because poor Alan, I didn't want to really inundate him with all this when we met the other day. The one thing that the city commission really needs to really work with on our county commissioners is we have a gap. We have a gap with, when you have a surveillance system in place, how do I say this? You might have a surveillance system in place, but it's a different entity. We don't have a contract with the county, I don't believe. And how is this monitored? Who is monitoring this? That kind of stuff. There's a gap, you know, because I have been working on this for 4 weeks. So we do have a gap that I think that we need to work with your county commissioners. They were very open when I did go meet with them. And so I think that is something that we all need to sit down and you all need to discuss together as two sets of entities, the county and city commissioners. Is we need to work together and figure this out. How is this going to be controlled? Who's, you know, who's in charge,
Yeah.
basically. So, but there
You're
is
right
a
in
gap,
that, Tim.
a big one. So that's something you need to consider. Because it's just like a business owner. If your surveillance is being tapped into somewhere and it's not being monitored, it's no good. It doesn't work. So I think that's all I got for you.
Put it down on your list, Al.
Poor guy.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. We move on to item number 4, items A, let's see here, A through F. A, November 13, special commission meeting minutes. B, November 16 commission meeting minutes. C, November 18 special commission meetings. D, November 23rd special commission meeting minutes. Item E, appropriation ordinances 2020-23, 2020-23A, and 2020-P23. And item F, the approval of the library contract for 2021. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brombaugh. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ferris. Any questions or concerns? Mary, read through.
Yes.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Thank you. Move on to item number 5, ordinances and resolution. Item A, ordinance 1736, conditional use permit at 908 Broadway Avenue. Alan, anything that you would like to say on this?
Well, I don't know what I don't know what the long-term plan is for any of those corridors, but I think that's the thing that I would consider most in this, is what's your long-term idea of that corridor? If there's a plan that exists that details that for you in making a decision. Other than that, you know, they're simply both for storage units, so that's a decision you get to make.
Any thoughts from the commission?
I guess my thought is, you know, it's a commercially zoned area for whatever reason. That's what the current zoning is, you know, and then for whatever reason, storage units have to have a conditional use permit. I don't know specifically why that's separate from any other type of commercial building or anything going on there, but I mean, it's currently zoned properly for that sort of business, as it were. So I personally don't see a reason why we should not grant them this permission. You know, if there's issue with the zoning of the block, maybe that should be addressed separately or soon otherwise, but as the way things currently stand, that's kind of how I feel.
Jeannie?
I'd be more open to the 1611, but I'm not really excited about the 908, and have a lot more concerns with that. And I think with people buying houses along that area, they don't expect at any point in time to have something else pop up across the street when there's a house there. The 1611 is a little bit different situation with what's on the block, and might even be an upgrade actually, and for what's next door in that whole square block area there. But that's just kind of my thinking right now. So I'm not really for the first one at all.
Jeannie? I mean, JJ?
Yeah, I'm not really in favor, just looking out for everybody in that area over there. Yeah, it's zoned the right way, but in my opinion, I wouldn't wanna walk out my back door and have a storage unit right there and all that traffic all night long and everything. It's, yeah, the 1611, sure, go for that one.
Gary?
No on 908, yes on 1611. So.
No, sir. Is there, quick question, is there residential housing on the 600 block of Kansas there? Just your house, there's no other residential housing there? Okay.
Well, Mr. Smith, I think, you've already heard the concerns of the commission. My viewpoint of that we would like to welcome people who want to invest money in the community. However, I got a lot of calls, and I kind of agree with my colleagues here from the respect that that's all residential there. And to put, even the physical dimensions that you're talking about, I have a hard time, visualizing where it would work. But my main concern is that it would be right in the midst of a residential area, and it would just look completely out of place. But I do appreciate, you wanting to, and I feel like the other when we get to the other item, I don't think you're going to have any difficulty, but I just wanted you to know my perspective on it and wanted to extend my gratitude for, taking time to invest money in Goodland. Any other concerns before I call a vote on it? Okay. I think it's been, so I'm going to make a motion. All those who are not in favor of passing ordinance 1736, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Ferris. So, Mary, read the roll.
Thompson,
So just so I'm not confused here, the motion was,
didn't mention.
To not allow.
grant it. To not grant it, right.
okay, well in that case, no.
Go
Oh,
on.
Howard. I'm concerned about a negative motion. That's what I'm concerned about.
Well, I wanted to word it right. Go ahead. So it's,
Yes,
yeah.
yes for no.
I know, they can't make a negative emotion. Yeah, Robert's Rules of Order, you can't
Oh,
make a
I
negative
see.
motion.
Oh, okay, all right, so we'll back up the system. All those in favor of allowing a more conditional use permit at 908 Broadway Avenue, have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, any other concerns? All right, Mary, read the roll.
Okay, it's to allow it.
To allow.
Thompson,
Yes.
Howard,
No.
Ferris,
No.
Brumbaugh,
No.
Garcia.
No. Okay. Move on to item B, ordinance 1737. Alan?
Same thing, rezoning, except this is rezoning.
All right. So, any other comments before we make a motion on this? All right. I will entertain a motion on ordinance 1737, rezoning of 1611 Kansas Avenue.
Make a motion.
Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Ferris.
I'll second.
Have a second by JJ. Have a motion on the floor and second. Any other concerns before we take the vote? Mary, read the roll.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Okay. All right, we move on to item number 6, formal action. Item A, CMB licenses for 2021. Alan?
I'm assuming these are renewal of malt beverage licenses and other liquor licenses.
Yeah. Brian, you want to take the podium here? There might be a few questions here.
Sure. So the only, I know Chief Hayes has done his background checks. Ms. Van Vliet has done her paperwork as well for the city side of things. And then for the building/fire department, the only buildings or properties that have not passed their building/fire inspections is Walmart and Dollar General. Waiting on those two companies to get back to me to abate their issues. We've had this issue before in the past, to where it's taken so long for these individuals, for whatever reason, to get these violations abated, that the commission in the past has approved all CMB licenses in, how should I say that, Mary? In contingent upon, there we go, contingent upon everybody passing their inspections. So not to hold everybody up, that's kind of what we've done in the past, because for whatever reason, Walmart, I guess they use their, which they do, they use their own maintenance crews, and they come around once in a blue moon to fix whatever issues. So yeah, so that's what we've done. So everything else is passed, like I said, except for Dollar General and Walmart. So
What's travel shop number 6?
that would be right across the street from Presto.
Is that pending too? Yes, Conoco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that pending too?
No, that one's passed.
That was passed. Okay.
Do you guys not have that one?
It's on here,
Yeah,
it says pending on here, so
Yeah,
apparently
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's passed since.
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, that is one that I got late, and I'm waiting to hear back from the KBI on the background. If I'm not mistaken, that is the one that I'm waiting, because I got it late.
Okay. Any other questions? Concerns from Brian? All right, I will entertain a motion on item A for cereal malt beverages license for 2021.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Howard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ferris. Any questions or concerns?
Do we need to add the contingency of the passing of the inspections on this motion?
I think that's what the,
Yeah.
that's what he was saying. He did. All right, any other concerns? Mary Rico.
Howard,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes. Okay. All right, so we move on to item B, KDOT cost sharing engineering agreement. Helen?
Yeah, it's a cost sharing agreement with EBH, for 17th Street, Maiden, Montana, and 2nd Street, Kansas, to approximately 400 west for street improvements in conjunction with the Kansas Department of Transportation cost sharing program.
Andrew, anything to take up the podium?
Yes, sir. Mayor, Commissioners, this, like Alan said, is a engineering agreement for the cost share award that was awarded to the city from KDOT, to do, when we were planning this, it was with Rich and Andrew, and basically it's to do a full replacement from Sherman Street down to the alley between Kansas and Montana, and then do panel replacements from Sherman back towards Main Street. And then the 2nd Street extension is the extension for approximately 400 feet past Kansas Avenue to the west. So, and that was granted to the city. 85% of the construction funds are being paid for by KDOT. The other 15% are the city, and then the engineering fees are directly from the city as well. So, just like any of our other agreements, I guess on the construction side, the design's lump sum, but the construction side would be time and expense per hourly. I don't anticipate hitting that number.
Yeah.
I don't know that we ever have, but you never know who you're going to get. So,
Okay. Any questions for Andrew? No? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve item B, KDOT cost sharing engineering agreement.
I'll move.
Have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Thompson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second by Commissioner Bromba. Any other questions or concerns before we take the vote? Mary, read the roll.
Ferris,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumbaugh,
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you, Andrew. We move on to discussion items. Item A, Sherman County Community Development Board interlocal agreement. Alan?
For the city and the county to jointly fund an economic development board. For, I believe the term was 1 year.
Okay, Jennifer, you got the podium.
Well, I don't, first of all, our economic development group's here. Amy, Ben, Jackie, myself, Steve, and Bill is still in basketball practice. So, we got together in July. We were appointed by your group and by the county commissioners, and we've been meeting monthly since then to create this agreement. We are meeting again on Wednesday, and we'd like to welcome Alan to come to our meeting. So the goal is to house at the Welcome Center, and this does not cover that, but we will need an agreement at some time to house at the Welcome Center. And basically, we're asking for funding from the county and the city to participate in the community development program. We changed the name to community development, hopefully to encompass, oh, there's Rachel. She's here too. She's part of our group. Hoping to encompass more for the community rather than focus on the economic development. So,
Good. How is the 501c completed already?
no, we're just here for the interlocal agreement tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, have you guys been meeting? I know that you've had some discussions on it. I mean, how's that coming along?
So, the paperwork will be filed. I've got I've requested information Friday, and I will submit that to the attorney on today's Monday, and after tonight, I'll get that submitted to him. We have started the process. So.
Any questions for Jennifer? I know that the county commission was going to meet in the morning. They were going to look at this. They might have a change, that they did nothing big. I don't know.
Brett, their county attorney, the county attorney Brett has crafted this document, and they have reviewed it once, and then we were to come to you to review it, and then I don't know what, did they not approve it the last time? Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, apparently they're gonna approve it tomorrow.
Okay.
But we don't have to be,
All right.
nobody's asked us to come tomorrow. So.
Well, it looks good. I mean, I don't know, I've read through it. I mean, it addresses all the concerns that we wanted to accomplish for sure. Did you have a question, Al?
Where and when is the meeting?
Northwest Tech Boardroom, 9:30 on Wednesday. And Jessica's been attending all the meetings, Jessica Bonner.
Okay.
The boardroom allows us to socially distance at the board table.
And it says that this is intended to encompass not only economic development, but the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Chamber of Commerce in one organization.
That is correct.
Any other, JD, any questions? Eric?
Don't have any. Nope.
Garrett?
Without belaboring the point here, it says shall have the responsibility to allocate financial resources provided in this agreement among these. Well, I get it. Never mind. I got it. I was thinking, what resources are you talking about? Well, our funding.
Yeah,
is.
we need funding.
I got it.
We're requesting funding.
That's right. All right, if not any further questions, thank you, Jennifer, thank you, the board, for being here. You know what, you might just stand up, the board members that are here, and I want you to introduce yourselves to Alan Lanning. I don't know, have you had an opportunity to meet any of these guys? Please stand up, guys, and introduce yourselves.
I'm Jackie Livengood.
With Eklund Insurance.
Ben Shears, Northwest Tech.
He's the president of the college. And
Amy Cedarstrom. Rochelle Stanley, I'm also your county appraiser.
Good evening, Stephen West, Western State Bank.
And I'm Jennifer House.
all right. So these will be the people you'll be working with.
All right.
All right. All right, we move on to review board applicants. Alan?
Thank
Looks like
you,
you
guys.
have
Thanks, guys.
two airport board applicants and 4 museum applicants.
So you guys have an opportunity to look at them? They're pretty well.
When I feel like we're always lucky when we get locals willing to volunteer their time to be on our
absolutely.
various boards, so.
Absolutely. Any questions? They all look good, no?
Yeah, they've both been on there, so.
Yeah. Well, we'll, come back and, huh?
Yeah, they all look good.
Yeah, come back and vote on it at their next meeting formally. We'll have it. We generally do, so, move on to item C, insurance consultant discussion. Ellen?
Well, I asked this to be put here because I would like to request or inform you that I would like to delay this until a recommendation would come to you at the July 4th meeting. January 4th, I'm sorry. And then you would make a formal decision on the 18th of January. And the reason for that is I've read Andrew's comments from the last meeting. I've talked to both entities on the phone. PIC is coming on the 15th to visit with me personally. And I think this is an important decision, so it behooves me to have more time to look at this and to move it forward, not so quickly, if that's acceptable to you. I know it kind of puts a crimp in some of the renewal issues by PIC, but I think we're fine in terms of that. It would certainly give me more time to get a better lay of the land and to do a better presentation for you that points out the strengths and the concerns of both entities.
So you want a little bit more time to do your due diligence?
Please.
How's the commission? JD, how do you feel about that?
That's fine. That's great. I think I want that extra input, absolutely.
I mean, my only concern with that is, you know, both of the entities have made it pretty clear that the sooner decision is made is better for them, for their ability to go out and procure, you know, their bids from the various insurance companies. I just wonder if waiting for another, you know, month and a half to determine exactly what we're going to do is going to inhibit them to a point where they won't be able to maybe get the best quotes for us that they would have been able to if they had more time to do so.
I don't think that's an issue. I think you'll hear that a lot from insurance companies, brokers, and consultants, and they'll say, if you don't do this today, you're going to hit this. There's always a deadline, and you're good up until the day before that deadline. And they probably already have, I don't know this for certain, but given my past experience, they've got a pretty good idea with quotes in hand about who's going to do what. And if they were really, really concerned, either of them, about us missing a deadline, they would have told us so.
You okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I just got a couple things to say. You know, going to a new consultant or staying with Rhonda, we're still getting the same thing, regardless of what we're doing. And is it going to cost us money to get out of Rhonda's contract? I think we need to take that into consideration. We need to take our employees into consideration of not making them worry what they're going to do for insurance and everything. Because, heck, we're having trouble finding employees right now because of the insurance issues that we're having. We need to make our employees feel comfortable with what they have and to keep them comfortable so they don't go somewhere else. In my thoughts, that's where I'm at. I think we still need to stay where we're at. We can look, and that's fine, but that's where I'm at.
Gary?
Well, I think we ought to look into both of them.
I mean, I definitely agree with JJ. I mean, honestly, we've been looking into both of these as a commission for 6 months now.
You guys haven't been dealing with Rhonda for the last 14 years, so.
Yeah, you're right. But I know a lot of the staff have, and I'm still yet to hear a staff member complain about their services that they received from her. I know that there's been some complaints from past and or current city commissioners regarding the way presentations are done and maybe the materials that are brought. But as far as like I said, as far as all the city staff, I mean, this has definitely been the biggest issue I feel among most of the staff this whole year, and it's brought great stress to lots of you. Correct? Yeah, everybody's been pretty stressed about this because we've been pretty indecisive about what we're gonna do. So, like I said, I made my kind of spoke my feelings last time. I kind of looked through both contracts again a little bit. I still pretty much land on the same spot as last meeting, you know, so I pretty much agree with JJ.
You know, we're just changing consultants. We're still gonna end up with the same insurance. Why not just keep the same consultant and go on down the road too? I mean, if we're changing, go to the new consultant and we still Blue Cross Blue Shield and still have everything like it is, how much is it gonna cost us to get out of Rhonda's contract? Aren't we here to look out for the people of the city of Goodland and their taxpayer dollar? And not to frivolously say, here, yep, you go ahead. We'll go ahead and pay you so much to get you out of your contract. And I don't fall down for wanting to learn more about both of them. That's good that you want to do that.
I think I will have, beyond just the medical insurance contract, I think I'll have other things for you to consider.
So I think, you know, from my perspective, you alluded to the fact that we've been discussing this for 6 months, and for 6 months we've been, you know, going back and forth, and I think that we've been very open-minded towards everyone involved. You know, we had both consultants come. Unfortunately, Alan wasn't here when Mr. Longhoffer came. We're dealing with consulting services at this particular point, and I know and understand that by virtue of having, you know, this was back in October and November, and November was going to be up for a formal meeting. Actually, it's been up on formal action, and we've delayed the formal action because I wanted to make sure that, you know, that we were being fair, you know, about the process and giving, you know, the commission latitude to do their due diligence. But on the other hand, I tell you, after listening to Alan at our last meeting, he is well educated in the arena of how insurance works. And he understands and he knows exactly what to look for. That's why we hire him, absolutely, to look out, you know, for the good of the city. And that's what we want him to do. So, you know, whatever recommendation he brings, you know, we still have a democratic process, you know, those, you know, whoever he brings, those can vote yes and those can vote no. But the fact that we have a new city manager on board, I'm going to rely on his expertise, you know, to consult us, and he's going to do his due diligence. In fact, it was, you know, supposed to be on formal action, but, you know, he's asked for, when I saw it on discussion item, I said, okay, we'll see what Alan has to say. And so if you're asking, you know, until January 4th, then, I think you've got the consensus to do that. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Okay. Move on to item 8, reports. Item A, city manager.
Well, what'd you like to ask me first?
Any questions? How's it going?
It's going fine. I, had a few meetings here and there, with staff and gotten a couple of issues, small ones under my belt. And mostly I've been reading, I read the entire zoning code today with subdivision regulations, so that's always fun, and started reading the charter code documents as well today. So I'm making a list, I'm checking it twice. And coming back in January, I will have a long list of questions and recommendations for you going forward that will probably take us into mid-year next year of things that we'll try to get done. So
Maybe, so have you had an opportunity to look at our budget? How does that look?
well, I haven't looked at the budget a lot. I've read through the budget and I couldn't tell you all the numbers in the budget, but I have some ideas in my head about, how the budget is laid out that I'll talk with Mary about later on, but, looks like you have enough money to cover the year so far, or the end of the year, and we'll see what it looks like in the future. I think there's always places where you can find a little bit here and a little bit there, or maybe need to spend a little bit more here and a little bit more there. And as we get along in that, I'll try to make you aware of things as soon as I'm aware of them. So right now I'm just trying to find things on the computer. It's I'm not a real big techie, so.
Have you had an opportunity to meet all the department heads? And
most of them, have come by in the last couple days, and so getting them used to coming in. We're going to have a department head meeting in the morning, and then I'm going to give some of my insights to them, and we'll go from there.
Good.
You will be seeing, I don't know, at the next meeting, perhaps the first one in January, you will be seeing a new council communication form that will hopefully standardize, and many of the questions that are asked will be answered in that communication form, and I think you'll like it. So that'd be the first thing you see on your agenda.
Good. Good. Any questions for Alan?
It's welcome.
Yeah.
Glad you're here, for sure.
Love the weather.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Alan. So we move on to item B, City Commissioners Report. I'll start off with Gary.
I don't have anything except for this weather will change on these days.
JJ?
I don't have much, but I'd like to say thanks to all the city employees for what they all do, and especially this time of the year where we don't know what anything's gonna happen. Just like to say thanks to them, and that's it.
Good. Aaron?
All right. I just have one thing. It was brought to my attention the other day when somebody was trying to find our contact information to get a hold of us about something, that to get on the city webpage and to try to find contact information from us is pretty much impossible. If you go on the commission page, there's nothing in there about who we are or how to get a hold of us. So I don't know what you guys think, but I kind of feel like kind of the first thing on this commission tab on the city website should be who we are, and at the very least our city emails, to be able to get a hold of us, if not so much as a headshot, so they know what we look like. But
Well, you got a good point, and it used to be that way. I don't know, when it changed. In fact, it used to have pictures of the commission, your name and your email address, phone number. I think it's something that maybe, Alan, that we need to work on.
that's it for me. Thank you.
JD?
Don't have much, just of course all the effort and the lighting with the Christmas and Main Street and everywhere, just all the, looks really great. So appreciate all the extra effort that goes into that, so.
Yeah, downtown looks awesome. It
Yeah.
really does. I love it.
It does. Well, I'd like to again say thanks for everything that the commission does, and Alan, thank you for your input. I think we'll enjoy being led by you. There's a lot on the upcoming months, you know, that we have to deal with. I'd like to say thank you to the employees as well. Dustin, where did you order those snowflakes? Uh-huh.
Your economic development director, Suzanne.
Well, man, those look great. They really, really.
Oh, you mean the swags
Yeah.
across? Yeah, I think we had one the first year and then we ordered two others.
Yeah,
So
those
the
look-
last,
Those look awesome.
I think last year was the first year we had the third one out.
Yeah, those look great. That's all I have to report, so if no other business to conduct, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brombaugh, second. Commissioner Ferris, all those in favor say?
Aye.
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 Thank you.